The upcoming release of the Nike SB Dunk Low Pro Classic Green has a bit more going on than your usual dunks. Now, the latest dunks, there's been about, 5 or 10 in a row that have been really wild. Some mixed up shoes, mismatched shoes, a bunch of different colorways, some really cool collaborations as well. But we're back to your kind of standard, normal blocking, but there's a little bit extra going on. And then there's a bit extra going on in the quality. There's something special about the quality of the shoe, the leathers that they've used, and the colorway that they've put together with it, even though it looks very, very simple. And what we're going to do today is we're going to go through the shoe bit by bit and talk about all of those special bits on there, the unique placement of some of the color blocking on the shoe, and some of the quality materials that they use. So without further ado, let's get into this and have a look at the upcoming release of the Nike SB Dunk Low Pro Classic Green. This is the Tokyo About 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo About 23 Sneaker Channel. This毎日アップするので毎日見てください. And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And this one's a really interesting shoe. It's got me a bit confused because when I actually planned this video, it was meant to be for June the 5th. There was the drop date. And I think I saw that from Soul Supplier guys over in the UK. And then literally I put together the video, researched it all, and then I was looking at the sneakers app for no other reason, and they say June the 1st, and that's here in Tokyo, Japan. I don't know if June the 1st is for the whole world. You out there watching this are thinking, June the 1st? That's what my sneaker app says. So I don't know when the drop date is going to be, if it's June the 1st, as my sneaker app says in Japan, if it's June the 5th, as Soul Supplier says in the UK, or if it's something else in the rest of the world. We'll just have to wait and see on that one. It does mean that I'm doing something I don't like to do, which is make a video very, very close to the drop date. I prefer the video to be a week, 10 days to 2 weeks before the drop date. And it gives people enough time to sort of think about the shoe, look at all the different bits on it, and decide whether or not they're going to go bang and grab a pair for themselves. But with all that being said, it's a great looking shoe. It triggers a couple of memories for me, and one of them is the Jordan 1 High Pine Green, I think it was called, especially because when the sneakers app was rolled out here in Tokyo, Japan, that was one of the shoes that they did those kind of special drops on. There were those, the beautiful shattered backboards came back around, the court purples, and all these Jordan ones that were big L's for me every single day, but it was still fun to try and do it. And these guys remind me of that kind of pine green feel, especially they also remind me in the Air Jordan 1 sort of line with the black toe feel going on there, which is really unique to me for SB Dunk Lows. Usually the standard, if you go with a very I don't want to say boring, but like the standard, the stock SB Dunk Low, what you'd have is pretty much a two-tone sneaker or a three-tone sneaker, but the colouring would go through the front of the shoe, up the quarter line, across the laces and down the heel, and then you'd have a second colour in the midfoot and maybe the toe box, and maybe a third colour in the swoosh, but they'd be very, very simple, and that's your kind of standard dunk. And then at the other end of that, you've got whatever they do with collaborations, everything from the Grateful Dead. So let's have a look at one of those, because that was a wicked shoe, very, very unique. And then things like Ben and Jerry's as well. There's another collaboration that was wild in the last 12 months. So you've got that huge spectrum going on of simple right up to kind of crazy. But this is kind of unique because the simple guys, they're actually taking a very sort of simple color system, but they've changed it up in the actual structure of it. But on top of that, there's the quality in the materials, and I'll show you a couple of places to look for that. And then there's some unique choices in the branding. So let's get into all that and have a look at the shoe today. So first things first, let's go look at the toe box, because that's the big thing. It's the Jordan 1 black toes. If you've ever seen a Jordan 1 black toe, that kind of structure and that kind of feel is what I'm feeling out of this shoe, and it starts in that toe box with the black toe element on there, which then runs back into the line that I was talking about, that runs the length of the shoe, and often, not always, often in standard dunks would be one single colour all the way through the shoe. It is broken up between black and the signature colour of the shoe, the classic green. So if you focus in on that toe box there and then do some kind of like slide along the green screen here, you'll see what I'm talking about, where the black then transitions into green, and that continues on its way through the rest of the shoe. So it's a really Interesting choice of colour in that, the toe box being one colour and then it changes to another colour on the way back. And that's really the selling point of these guys, but I think there's a bit more to it than that. It's not just about the black toe as we're talking. So so if I've done that kind of transition from the front end of the shoe to the back's a good place to flip out to this picture here. And this is the first of the two pictures that I really want to focus in on, and thinking about the quality of the leathers on these guys, because what I'm seeing is really high quality leathers. Now, they're simple standard leathers. I'm not talking like patent leather or tumbled leather or anything like that. They're simple standard leathers as far as I can tell. But the quality on them seems to be just a little bit above your standard Dunk quality in shoes. Now, it's a good place as well if we're back on the back end of the shoe, looking at that quality, to talk about what it is to be a difference between an SB Dunk Low Pro and a Dunk, for example. And what basically happened is, I think it was about 2011, maybe in 2009, around about that time anyway, they came out with this silhouette, the SB Dunk Low Pro, and they beefed up the skateboard side of things, SB skateboard, especially in terms of comfort and stability to protect the ankles of skateboarders. So the tongue has a bit more padding on it, and the ankle and lining have a bit more padding on them, and that's why it's a good place to jump from the ankle there, where we're looking at the quality of the leathers, and into those parts of the shoes, and feeling that stability and that extra bit of padding that you get around that part of the shoe, but also on the insole itself and the midsole unit of the shoe, where you have the air units on the inside. They got beefed up as well, and so you've got the comfort added there, but you've also got the stability and protection of ankles with the padding around the tongues and the lining on the shoe. So that's the kind of SB Dunk Low Pro beefed up side of things. And like I say, the ankle with that quality leathers at the back there is a good place to sort of make that comparison to the other Dunk lines. But then if you go forward to the front end of the shoe, back to that toe box, I think it's another shot of the toe box that gives you an idea again of those leathers. And to be honest, it's the green hits on the shoe that help you see the leathers and what quality you have in them. They're the places where you can look. The black and the white, it's a little bit harder to get a sense of the quality, but it's the green on there. But this toe box shot here should be able to sort of give you an idea of what's going on there. And right between those two, we might as well stop on the swoosh one more time. Since we've scanned past it, we might as well actually have a look at it and see those three colours playing off each other in the swoosh, in the midfoot, and then in that green that wraps around the edge of it. So so really great colour blocking, really beautiful quality on the shoes, great leathers in there as well. But on top of that, you have also got three different places with really interesting choices in terms of the branding, colour, placement. And what I'm talking about first, we'll go high to low, is looking down from above into the insole and the tongue at the same time, and you can see the green branding Nike SB Dunk Low Pro on the tongue, on the black tongue branding panel on the black tongue. So you've got two colours. Usually, you know, if it was the shoe has a three-tone shoe, you'd probably see three-tone colour blocking up on the tongue branding. So it just being black with the green branding on top of it is a really neat feature. And then it's not too far to go and have a look on the inside and see that the inside is the same sort of style of blocking with the green branding on black, but that extends to the lining of the shoe as well. And a bit about the Zoom Air, and like I was saying, the Air is beefed up on these because they're SB Dunk Low Pro. So that's point number one as far as sort of branding, colouring, the choice being there that they don't have the white mixing in with it, so the green and the black, it's got a real kind of dark kind of, I don't know, there's a quality about it, that kind of dig. And then the second place to go, of three, there's the third to come to, and then we'll finish this video, is on the back, to go look at the branding on the back of SB Dunk Low Pros. And again, it's exactly the same sort of feature, that you're looking for three colours, but instead of having the two colours that you get, like green on black on the tongue, you actually only get one black on black. Very rare as far as I'm concerned to see that kind of colour blocking with the Nike branding in the back there. Still, the NIKE doesn't fit in the branding panel, as we know. That's one of the kind of cute features of SB Dunk Low Pro. So it's all sort of lopsided and tilted over, and the E doesn't quite fit in the end. Hard to see when it's black on black, but I dig that black on black as a cool design choice. I would have expected green on black here. So so that they did that is kind of cool, and that actually mimics the outsole. So if we go down and have a look at the outsole, great, beautiful emerald green outsole, but the main point for me on it is actually the mid-foot branding panel on there, and that kind of irregularly shaped rectangle where the branding in there is in black and the panel itself is in black, so it's a bit harder to see that branding. So back out, having a look at the whole shoe. Very neat shoe, very clean shoe with a few little hidden gems in there as far as their choices of where they put the colours goes, and as far as their choices with the branding choices go, and also the quality of the leathers on there. So I think what we've got here is what most people will look at as a standard SB Dunk Low Pro, but it's actually got a bit of oomph behind it, a little bit more. Your top drawer SB Dunk Low Pro. So it's well worth looking at these guys and deciding on June the 1st or June the 5th or some other day whether you want to go for them. I think it's one of the shoes that people will be going after, even though it looks like quite a simple shoe. And with that being said, it's time to wrap this video up and just check it off and fire it into the vault for another day. The daily drops keep on coming every single day, 7 days a week, churning out the content for YouTube. Hopefully you guys are appreciating that out there, and I'll just do what I do at the end of every single video, which reminds you that I do this every single day, and that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.